So I'm galloping in the seat and my bum is doing this on the saddle for like 12 hours. I had to inform the directors, the producers of the show, I'm gonna need to leave at the end of this day. Hello, my name is Tom Hopper. In my career, I've played superheroes, some guy in Game of Thrones, and Navy SEALs. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about some of those stunts I've done in those shows. This is Stunt School. So on Game of Thrones, I played Dick Ontali, and one of the big sequences in my part in Game of Thrones, we had a huge battle sequence where we got to do a lot of horse riding. We had weeks of training with the horses, and I love horse riding, I've done it quite a lot, but on screen they tend to not have you just galloping around that much, so they wanted to like really train us to really gallop around, so we were free to work with the horses. They wanted us seated for these galloping moments, not out of the saddle. We had to do this over like 3 days. So I'm galloping in the seat and my bum is doing this on the saddle for like 12 hours over and over again. And I started to think at the end of the first day, my bum is really sore. Turned out I had quite significant chafing on my backside. And then without telling anyone, I didn't tell anyone I had this issue. So I just kind of had to grin and bear it for the next 2 days of galloping scenes. So if you look closely when watching Game of Thrones, you'll see a slightly pained face of a chafed bum. The next moment I'm going to talk about is something from Terminal List Dark Wolf. We were shooting in Budapest last year. My character, Rafe Hastings, has to jump onto a Humvee and get onto a 50 cal machine gun, which is a very big machine gun and very loud. So we were doing this in a night shoot, maybe like 1, 2 in the morning. We were firing off this 50 cal machine gun. I'm thinking this is amazing. I'm just like firing off, not caring at all. And then we find out the next day that most of Budapest started calling the police, thinking they were under attack from a neighboring country. But actually it was just Tom Hopper on a 50 cal machine gun. We have a bunch of different guys from the Army Rangers, a bunch of Navy SEALs, and they are instrumental in making sure that everything is authentic on the show. Without those guys, yeah, I'd just be firing all over the place. Probably the most challenging thing in terms of the authenticity is making sure that you're doing them justice. These guys who have trained for years to be what they are. We're trying to do it in a split second in a shot, making sure that you are as accurate as they are, looking as authentic as they are. It works beautifully when it does. So on the Umbrella Academy, we were once doing a big fight sequence in a bowling alley at the end of season 1. The family of siblings in the Umbrella Academy are all in a bowling alley, and then they all of a sudden get attacked by a bunch of dudes coming in with guns, and we have to fight them off and then ultimately escape. One thing that you should know, during this sequence, my wife had informed me that she was going to have a C-section the following day in the UK, and I was shooting this in Toronto, which is about a 6-hour flight away. I had to inform the directors, the producers of the show, I'm gonna need to leave at the end of this day. Fortunately for me, they all worked very, very hard to make sure that all my fighty bits were done and dusted by the end of that day, so I could fly home that night. And I just, by the skin of my teeth, made it home to watch my daughter, my second child, be born. That was the most intense kind of push to get all my stunty bits in one day. On the first episode of the first season, my very good on-screen friend and off-screen friend, David Castaneda, and I had a fight sequence. Not a lot of people will know, but we shot that scene in the deathly cold of the Toronto winter, and it was minus 18 outside. They also wanted it to be a rain sequence, but the rain couldn't be warm. It had to be ice cold, because if it was warm, it would have steamed into the cameras, and it would have made the whole scene a big steam room, basically. But shooting it in ice cold weather and rain made it probably one of the toughest fight scenes I've ever done, but it also brought me and David Castaneda closer than ever as we went on our Umbrella Academy journey. The next moment I'm going to talk about is a stunt I did in the show Black Sails. The Stunt was involved in a very big storm sequence in which the ship gets tipped onto its side and goes through a wave. So my character, Billy Bones, is up on a yardarm, which was about 25 meters, 30 meters high. And there was me and a camera operator, stunt guy, and that was it. And the shot they wanted to achieve was me up there, and when the wave hits, the whole ship tips over and dunks me into the water, and then I come all the way back up to 25, 30 feet, 30 meters high, all in one shot. So when I was up there, I was first of all bricking myself because it was quite frightening up there. And I had very minimal safety things on, because if I was dunked into the water and it got stuck down there, I needed to be able to release myself. And it was kind of like the world's scariest ride. I'm holding on for dear life. Get dunked under the water. It feels like maybe 2-3 seconds under the water. As I came back up, just hanging on to everything you can with all my strength. I was physically pretty whacked after that one. Yeah. So that's it. That's some of my most memorable stunt moments, and my bum has healed.